Welcome back, everybody, to the Triple Play Podcast. This is Colby and Nick. We're coming to you with another beautiful video on another beautiful day, getting ready for some fantasy football. Nick, we have an auction draft on Saturday, and I cannot wait for it to get here, man.
Uh, I'm ready to drive up Devon's prices.
Oh, goodness, Grandma. Apparently, we're actually looking for a eighth right now because one of the guys that was in it last year couldn't be in it, my cousin. So I'm actually on the case right now. So we'll just see.
Gotta
Yeah,
find somebody.
drop a comment down below if you're interested. No. Nick, tell them what we're gonna be doing today.
We're gonna be talking about the top 20 quarterbacks in fantasy football dynasty leagues. Um,
And
okay.
at right here at the beginning, I just talked about a second ago. You said that your rankings would kind of surprise me.
hmm
I think a lot of the very, very tippity top guys are guys that you're going to be looking for in your home leagues too, like your regular standard redraft leagues too, in my opinion. What would you say to that?
I would say I would say like the top eight, you're definitely looking for in your redrafts because it's only one QB leagues,
Yeah.
but you're
Yeah,
not looking
absolutely.
for them early in the draft.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No, if you're playing a redraft league where it's two QBs, and I've heard plenty of people do that in their redraft leagues too, then yeah, it definitely changes then.
Right.
Then you start going for quarterbacks earlier. Is there a unanimous number one, Nick?
Well, there is, but just not for me personally, because I have the one pick and I just had to take it on someone else.
I understand, but anybody else in the one pick, if they're, not looking for their favorite franchise's guy, it
It's
would probably
it's
be
Mahomes. It's
Patrick
gotta be.
Mahomes. Maybe, I mean, he's got some work to do, but definitely, I think he could go down as a top five quarterback of all time.
I agree. That's yeah.
You think about a lot of these quarterbacks that have been so good, in the past, we grew up on Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and those guys, and then some other guys that were really good, with us growing up, some guys like Drew Brees,
hmm
Philip Rivers, Eli Manning. Eli Manning won two Super Bowls, and I don't even feel like he probably gets talked about in a top five quarterback of all time conversation.
Well, he doesn't because he's not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, and guys like Drew Brees and Philip Rivers, and even the better years of Matt Ryan, these guys get pushed down just thinking about, top 10 quarterbacks of all time, maybe even top 15. So to say that Patrick Mahomes could be a top five quarterback of all time, it is very, very specific, set of skills that it would take to be that quarterback.
If Aaron Rodgers wins another ring, is he a top five quarterback in your eyes?
I think just with me personally, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but just with the MVPs and, he got a ring there, he wins another ring somewhere else. I think that there is something to be said for that too. I really respect Peyton Manning for doing that. I really respect Tom Brady for doing that. I wasn't much of a fan of Tom Brady in New England, but when he came to Tampa Bay and won a ring too, I was like, hey, props to this guy. He's serious. So I do
Tom
think
Brady was serious after six rings.
well, yeah, I mean,
Come on now.
I think it's definitely in the conversation, but then you start crowding up that top five range, and then you start getting a little more biased toward your generation, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas I want to put Tom Brady and Peyton Manning on mine for sure. Well, that's two spots. If we start talking about Aaron Rodgers being in there, that's three. Patrick Mahomes, that's four. Okay, what about all these other guys that were really good, man?
I think Montana's got to go in there somewhere.
Montana.
I mean,
You talk about
Favre, even though he was a big time choke artist, in my opinion.
Montana, Elway, Favre, Steve Young. Um, there's just so many names that you could mention. But otherwise, Patrick Mahomes, he's a good quarterback. He probably get it done for you if you draft him in fantasy football.
All right, Kobe, who's your number two?
I went back and forth on this, and I think just based on the fact that he's done it consistently, I gotta go with him, and I gotta go with Josh Allen as my number two, just for the
Gotcha.
fact that he is he's not the new hotness. He's been here. He's done it. He's not Mahomes, but he's been here and done it. And he's going to throw more picks, but he's also going to run more than Mahomes. So, I like Josh Allen, and I like him at the 2 spot.
Um, I got my boy Burrow at number 2.
That's fine.
Just I I value the rushing guys highly, but I also value the elite pocket passers higher, just because they're going to take less hits, and since the rushing QB has become a more prominent thing, we've not seen one have the shelf life of an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning. They can't play for 15 to 20 years like those guys have. They've seemed to have like 5-year peaks where they're insane, but then they get one nasty hit and they're done.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and part of me loves Burrow so much, and that's why I would swap Allen and Burrow, but I'd rather take Burrow at 2 than Allen personally.
I understand. And, I'm probably going Burrow at 4. I know that you've probably got the guy that I'm going to have at 3 at 4, so we can kind of talk
Mm-hmm.
about these guys all in a mix here. I know Allen, I think, took a step back with his precision last year. I know that he was a little more, interception prone, and I think it's just sometimes he goes out there, and I honestly, I kind of think Josh Allen's a hothead. What do you think?
Everyone knows Josh Allen's a hot.
Yeah, so Josh Allen being a hothead, I think he just gets a little too out of control sometimes, and just goes out there and throws a foolish pass in a game that he really has no business throwing that foolish pass. They probably got it in the hands, and he just needs to take care of the ball and move it methodically. But he's always looking for the home run play. So I mean,
That's the thing about the guys with the bazookas for arms. They've got egos and they think they can fit every ball into these tight little places, and they typically can't.
yeah. Um, with Joe Burrow, I think the only concern that I have with Joe Burrow is he gets nicked up sometimes, and he hasn't had, ever since the it was ACL, correct, in his first
ACL
season.
ACL rookie year. Yep.
Yep. Ever since that, we haven't had a major injury, but he gets these little nicks and misses preseason. Then he comes into the season and he's just fine. And I'm not sure if it's just where he's working back into it. You're coming off the off season. He never looks out of shape or anything
Right.
like that. So you can't say that. So I'm not really worried about him. I do still think he's my 4, just because I do buy into the rushing ability of the guy that I have at 3, and that's
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts. I think the main question with Jalen Hurts is, do you think he's for real, as in he can put up these numbers for another 5, 6 years, at least?
If he can stay on the field, I will think so. Yeah, because I mean, even last year he missed what 3 games, 4 games
Yeah,
last year.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
tough already. In his breakout year, he's missing 3 4 games. What's he?
yeah.
I mean,
And that was one of those situations where they say these things, but you're like, I don't know if you're serious. They say, oh well, if this was the playoffs, he could play today, and everything, and you're just not sure if they're being serious or if it's whatever. I mean, I know they took a loss to the Cowboys in the midst of all that, and I don't think they're just doing that willy nilly, you know.
yeah. I mean, when I'm looking at this fantasy pro, I'm anxious to see where you have this guy, and it's probably not anyone who you think I'm talking about. It's
So
I
we're going with
just
those guys as top 4 though.
Oh, those are the top 4 set in stone in my opinion. Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Burrow in any order. Those are the top 4
I
for
think
sure.
if you get any of those, like if you're one of the top 4 picks in a dynasty 2 quarterback league, you got to take one of those.
Yeah, you're chilling.
Yeah. All right, number 5. Who you got?
My number 5 is probably a surprise to you, Justin Fields.
I thought that you could go this way. He's actually going to be. I'm probably going to go 7 with him, not because I don't think that. Oh, listen, if you're drafting a team, if you draft Justin Fields, I feel like you need to draft for a 3-year championship window. I think you need to go ahead and draft for a 3, 4, maybe even 5-year championship window where you think you're going to win now and might could win for the next 2 or 3 years after that. Because I feel like guys that run like Justin Fields, eventually they just have a smaller timer on their career.
Yeah.
So I mean, yet to be seen if he's going to take any big hit. He may be smart enough to where he doesn't take any big hits and stuff. I know that Josh Allen likes to run the ball a little bit, but Josh Allen will literally just take the hits anyway when he really shouldn't. So I mean, it's yet to be seen if Justin Fields will do it. What's your reasoning behind jumping him up to number 5?
Uh, Part of it is he's 24. He
Hmm.
had 1,100 rushing yards last year in like 13 games. I mean, he just got a true number one. First time in his career he's had a competent receiver out there to throw to. I really think Justin Fields is just on the up.
I listen. You cannot argue with rushing yards at a
In
quarterback
fantasy,
position.
in
He
fantasy,
could
it's
look.
elite.
He could look. 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts was a really good fantasy quarterback, but was really struggling throwing the ball. And then this past year, he made the adjustment. Do we see the same jump for Justin Fields? I think that's what a lot of people are
I,
asking themselves.
I'm
So
I'm not saying that DJ Moore is AJ Brown,
I know what you're about to say, and I agree. I have to agree.
but Jalen Hurts did what Jalen Hurts did because they got him AJ Brown. They
Josh
went
Allen,
out.
Josh Allen
Josh
did what he
Allen.
did because
Yep.
they got
They
Stephon
went out and
Diggs.
got him Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
Joe Burrow. Now while he was fine in his 9 games that he played his rookie year, he still is fine. He's still not Joe without Jamar there. And I'm telling you, if they let either one of those two walk out of the building, I will drive to Cincinnati and burn that place to the ground because it's just gonna be stupid. Like, God, it ain't even happened yet. I'm already mad about
Yeah. I completely understand.
it.
I think my number 5, this might be a little bit of a surprise. I think we're both high on this guy though. My number 5 is Trevor
Oh no,
Lawrence.
I agree. I could my
Yeah.
5 through 7 I could see interchanging in any order.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Trevor Lawrence because when he needs to be the pocket passer, he can be. They put a good team around him. They put a good offense around him. When he needs to use his legs, he can do it. He is an athlete. He's not gonna run as much as these other guys. He's
Mhm.
not gonna run as much as Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, but he's gonna run more than Justin Herbert. He's gonna run more than Dak Prescott. He's gonna run more than some of these other guys, and he's not afraid to use his legs if he has to. They've done such a good job in Jacksonville of putting together a competent team around him. It is beautiful, man. I'm so hyped up for this offense this year, man. This could be a top 5 offense in the NFL. So I got it. I'm buying. If I can get a share this Saturday in the auction draft of some Trevor Lawrence action in a redraft league, I'm picking it up.
I think you could get him for cheaper.
I know, I
Redraft
know.
league. Yeah.
I do think he goes. We play with $1,500 starting out. I think he could be somebody that could go for like 150 or less, just based on the fact that after those first couple quarterbacks come off, the price drops significantly.
Right.
Who do you have at 6 for you?
I have Justin Herbert at number 6.
I have him at 6 for me as well.
Okay.
Um, Kellen Moore offense. We are about to see what Justin Herbert can be. Like,
Yeah.
this is it. This is the year. We're going to find out just how good Justin Herbert is. And I just hope he stays healthy through the whole thing, just so we can really get a good idea of how amazing it could be.
I I like it. I mean, I think it could. I think people that pass on Herbert in the dynasty draft might be making a mistake. Like I think CJ, if CJ has a chance to take Herbert, I think he's making a mistake if he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Herbert is the tier break for me. Herbert, if I'm the 5th pick, I'm taking Herbert. Then I go Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Then I might go somebody else. Honestly, I think, I know that I just put T Law at the 5, but I think Herbert might be the break.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can draft. It's bad because I'm ranking T Law ahead of Justin
Hmm.
Herbert because I think that's where it could be all said and done. But if all the players are on the board, I know that I might would take Herbert over Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Oh man, it's tough. He's a good quarterback, and he's got three weapon wide receivers this year, a competent tight end in Gerald Everett. Like they featured
Austin
Quentin
Eckler.
Johnston. They featured QJ in that preseason game, and he is such a big human being.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is huge.
He's massive, man.
Like he was made. Like I know a lot of DBs are kind of smaller. This man just made everybody on the defense look small. Like he is humongous, man. They were feeding him the ball, trying to get him going.
Did
So I think
JSN play in the preseason game?
he had one catch, I think. But no, the Chargers went out there with a mission
Feed
to get him
him.
involved, and I think it's just because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams missed time. So they're going to have to lean on. They're going to hope Quentin Johnson is healthy for all 17 because he's going to have to fill in for these guys who consistently miss time.
Yeah.
I know that my 7 is Justin Herbert, and I know that your 7 is Trevor Lawrence. So I don't think we need to talk about those anymore.
Yeah.
Number 8 for both of us. I'm assuming
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Only number 8 for me because of injuries.
Yeah, injury concern. The guy's missed back half of the last 2 years. It's scary. And it might be even scarier now because he doesn't have to come back. He's got 255 million in his back pocket guaranteed.
Yeah, and you know what Justin Fields does, Lamar invented it, and Lamar can throw the deep ball too, man.
Mm-hmm. Lamar can sling
sling
it.
it.
He's a better passer than Fields is. But he just, and I know Fields got hurt last year. This is what I'm saying though. Like the rushing QBs just get hurt. I don't like it. But and this is why the guy I've got right now, he'll probably surprise you, but still, like the rushing ability, I think will be insane. But it scares me the injury concern. How soon is he going to start getting hurt and start missing time?
Absolutely, and there's going to be a couple of guys that we talk about with that as we keep going. It's just it's sad, you know. You don't want to see it. I'd rather just I wish every NFL player would stay healthy all the time.
Right.
But then, obviously, honestly, that would close the window on some guys that literally make their name after another guy gets hurt in
Yeah,
front of them.
that's true. I mean, Tom
So,
Brady.
yeah, Dak Prescott,
Right. Yeah.
the same thing. So I mean, it's sad, but you know, Lamar Jackson invented the 1,000 quarterback rusher. So
Right.
we're gonna find out just how much he can hold up this year, and if he holds up for a full 17, it would be untelling the stat line. I don't think he'll ever hold up for a full 17, but the stat line would be insane. I
I
do think,
think
and you tell me if you're wrong, and I'll let you get to your point. I'm sorry. Do you think Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields? Do you think anybody can bank on a full 17 from them ever?
at this point with Lamar, maybe not, just because he might just have lingering injuries from
Yeah.
now on.
Yeah.
Fields, maybe just because he's 24, and I mean Lamar's only 26. Like it just seems like he's
Yeah.
old because he's been in the
It
league for
does.
forever.
It seems like he would be as old, you know. And Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are only 27. It seems like these guys have been in the league forever, but just because they've just done so much, man.
Right.
The quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, we are spoiled.
Oh yeah.
This is a great time to be watching the NFL. Honestly,
This
like
this
these
top
guys are,
eight list of quarterbacks is freakish.
you know, that list of quarterbacks that I was just talking about earlier with some of the greatest quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks were good quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are freak athletes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are so lucky to see these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm ready to get on to number 9 if you are, and I'll let you go first since you said you might surprise me.
Anthony Richardson.
I think you have to. I think you have to go with Anthony Richardson. I don't think there's anybody in that tier that I would put above Anthony Richardson and what he might be able to do.
I just think and he's starting right away, so you'll get to see the rushing ability right away.
Absolutely. A decent strength of schedule this year.
I don't hate it. Don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I find myself wanting pieces of the offense, but I just don't know if I'm being smart about that. Like these wide receivers, I don't know if they will produce around their ADP this year. This might be the year of, you know, Justin Fields and, you know, Jalen Hurts. We keep referring to them. They had a year where they were more predominantly just a rushing quarterback. They had to grow some. Anthony Richardson already has some pretty good weapons. He's got Pittman. That guy could be a true one. I really
Yeah.
think he can. He's got the intangibles. Josh Downs come in. He had some good tape coming out of college. He's got some guys that could get it done for him on the field. He might still have Jonathan Taylor. We don't know if he does. He's got a tremendous rusher. He could put the game on somebody else if he needs to. The guy could be an insane playmaker if it all works out. I just think I like him and the opportunity of him better than any of these other guys that
I
are around
mean,
him.
Richardson reminds me a lot of Lamar. Super raw, coming out of college. I thought the Ravens did the smart thing, sitting him a year behind Flacco and RG3, and letting them kind of teach him. Because I mean, Flacco's teaching him how to throw, RG3's teaching him how to run. I mean, just how to be a pro quarterback. And I think it would have done Richardson good to sit him a year behind somebody like, I mean, behind Gardner Minshew, maybe even like, just to let him grow a little bit more and develop, and don't rush him out there. Because like, I mean, some guys, if you rush them out there and they don't have success, they just get so down on themselves and they never get that confidence back, and it kills them.
Yeah.
And
Some of the really good ones, it doesn't matter either.
yeah, and that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, you'd hate to see a guy's career end before it can even start.
Yeah, I would say if you're drafting Anthony Richardson, you're going to get enough rushing points to make him viable this year, but
Yeah, for
don't
sure.
make your whole decision of what you do with him in the offseason based on what he does this year.
Yeah, because I mean,
You're buying him for
Rich,
next year and 10 years after that maybe. You never know.
right? Richardson, and Stroud are 21. Young's 22. Like, if you're drafting those guys, you're pretty much, unless they're your second quarterback, you're pretty much committing to the future.
And if they're your second quarterback, I would grab another guy that's a little older,
Yeah,
like
like
on
an
his way
Aaron
out.
Rodgers or a
Yeah,
Stafford or
no,
something
that
like
that
that.
next tier that we're about to talk about, I grab any one of those guys, kind of, Cousins, Goff, Geno
Hmm.
Smith, Rogers, Carr. I grab any of those guys to sit in that spot for at least the first half of the season while these guys get started. I was gonna say Anthony Richardson at 9 as well. Um, for long-term purposes, at number 10, I'm gonna say Kyler Murray.
Oh Lord, I guess I probably should put him on here. I forgot about him.
It has been a while. That is a great thing to say, Nick, because it has been a minute since we have seen good Kyler Murray.
That's true.
Like honestly, it really has. And it's sad. It really is sad that Arizona is where they are after being competitive for several years to see where they are now.
Mm.
Um it's going to take a couple years to build up. Arizona may be the first overall pick this year, and we may see a wide receiver come off the board first for Kyler Murray, honestly. Like, Marvin Jones Jr. could be the first pick, and Kyler
Harrison.
Murray Harrison. I keep doing that. I'm doing this so bad this offseason. Marvin Harrison Jr. But I still believe in the talent that Kyler Murray had showed in the past. They're going to have a way easier strength of schedule next year. So I think if you're buying Kyler Murray, he could miss the whole season this year. He's going to miss at least half the season, I would say. And he's the same situation as one of these rookies, except for we've seen him do it already. We just got to wait for him to get back on the field.
God, Murray's only 26 too. It's kind of
Yeah.
nuts.
No, and he can sling it enough to where he's a good mixture of run and pass. Well, who did you have after Richardson though?
I had two at 10.
Two. I like Tua better than a lot of names right here. I really, really, I mean, I hope and pray that this guy does not get hurt again.
Oh yeah.
Like it is,
Now I don't want
it,
him to get hurt, period. But like concussions, Jesus, like
yeah, like you
some
just
injuries,
it's
you
such
just
a bad feeling that it's gonna happen again, and it's gonna be like he's gonna be done for his career. So no, I like Tua. I like Tua in that spot. I would put him after Kyler. I'm fine with that. Here's where things get interesting. Here's some names to think about, just so everybody knows who we're talking about here when I say this is where it gets interesting. Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones. Those are three quarterbacks that are in this little tier here. And there are two rookies in this tier, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. This is where things get weird, in my opinion. Like, pretty seriously weird.
I've
Who do
got
you
Young
go?
11.
What?
I've got Young at 11.
Okay, Bryce Young. Okay, that's who I take next out of this group. But Stroud is not the one that I take next after Bryce Young.
Me either.
Who do you take
I
after Bryce
take
Young?
Jared Goff after Bryce Young.
Wow. So you're bringing up Jared Goff into this. And Jared Goff is only 28. I feel like everybody acts like Jared Goff's in his 30s. Like everybody when the Lions drafted Malik Hooker. No, wait, no. Am I saying that right?
The who drafted
Hit,
what?
what is the Tennessee quarterback that the Lions
Malik
drafted?
Willis.
Malik Willis. No, no,
Wait,
no.
what? No,
No,
wait. What are
no,
you
it's
talking?
not. It's
The
not.
Lions? What are you? What?
The Lions drafted the Tennessee quarterback that's hurt
Oh,
this
Hendon
year.
Hooker.
Hendon Hooker. Okay, good. Malik Hooker plays defense. We're gonna get this. Okay. But everybody acted like, oh well, that they're getting him because Jared Goff probably gonna be done in a couple of years. But they might let him go. But I think Jared Goff could be a serviceable quarterback for another 7 years the way he plays the game.
Yeah, he doesn't run the ball much.
Honestly, I know that after Bryce Young, I'm gonna buy the resurgence, Nick. The resurgence of a certain man whose
No,
name should not be mentioned
no,
in
don't.
any.
No,
I can't help it.
people
I
don't listen to this.
Deshaun Watson.
I wouldn't even know who I was talking about. Don't listen to that either. Don't draft that.
No, listen.
Oh,
At this point, I'm buying the resurgence. Listen, if it don't happen this year, it's over. It's done. It's done for good. Deshaun Watson is done. This is
you're a
the year
sack of
where we
shit.
decide that. He's a terrible person.
You're a
Honestly,
sack of shit for putting him in your top 20.
he's a terrible person, but I got to do it because this is a
How many do
fantasy
they
football
rank on
channel.
here? How many do they rank on this fantasy quiz? They rank
I
111. That's what he is. He's 111th on my phone.
got to put him on here because the people need to know.
No, the people don't need
Okay,
to know shit. They need to know he's a
so
piece of
9,
filth.
10, 11, 12. I would have him at quarterback 12 right now. Is he a bad person? Yes. Are you playing fantasy football? You are also playing fantasy football, which is a fake thing, which means you do not have to shake Deshaun Watson's hand ever as you put him into your starting lineup, and hopefully he leads you to doing well in your fantasy football season.
If you draft him, you're a piece of garbage.
Okay, anyway, I don't plan on drafting him, but I'm just being honest.
Anybody, whoever drafts him, you're a
So
piece of
you brought
garbage.
Jared Goff up into the tier 3 here.
Yeah, because he's
Who
actually good, and like Daniel
Okay.
Jones isn't. Dak Prescott isn't.
Okay, well who do you have after Jared Goff?
After Jared Goff, I have Derek Carr because I value quarterbacks who actually can do something in the field.
After after Deshaun Watson. Man, after Deshaun Watson, it just gets rough. I'm just thinking strictly fantasy points, not how they look as a quarterback or anything like that. I'm thinking strictly fantasy points. Mhm. This is awful, and I hate saying this. This is a terrible thing to say. I think my number 13 is going to have to be Daniel Jones.
That's
For the fact
pitiful, Colby.
for
Why?
the fact that Daniel Jones literally
Ugh.
runs more than you could ever understand. Like, you do not think that Daniel Jones is a mediocre rushing quarterback, but he is. Now, the Giants, I fully expect the Giants to take a step back this year, but Daniel Jones will literally rush enough that he could be a serviceable quarterback for you for several years. Do I want him as a quarterback 1? Absolutely not. I just said he was quarterback 13. You should already have a quarterback 1 if we're talking about quarterback 13. So I'm sorry, but it's just honest truth that
Okay.
he
All right.
he
Hold on.
because he was number 5 last year. He was
Hold on.
literally number 5.
Okay. Let me ask you a series of 14 questions. Would you rather have Patrick Mahomes or Daniel Jones?
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes.
Would you rather have Josh Allen or who are we even
Yes,
talking about?
the answer is yes for about 10 more. All right. So actually for about 12 more because I put him at 13. Okay. Who is somebody around this tier that you want to ask me about?
Okay. CJ Stroud.
Me personally drafting, I would rather have Stroud.
Prescott.
I got a Cowboys bias, but
Jared Goff.
I'd
Kirk Cousins. Geno Smith. Russell Wilson. Kenny
I'd
Pickett.
rather
Aaron
I'd rather have
Rodgers.
those guys at my two, but like I'm just being honest on where I think the guy deserves to be. That is just the complete and total honesty. Am I drafting him? No, because I genuinely don't think he's that great of a football player. Reports out of camp are great. That's great. Don't care. Okay. We're going to find out this year with a stronger strength of schedule if the Giants were for real. It could have, listen, this coach may have just decided, to make Daniel Jones a good quarterback.
No, Daboll was for real,
Yeah.
but Daniel Jones is not. The dude takes 5-yard dump offs every play. He does not throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. Like, he's
But
pitiful.
but you can't argue with the fact that he was the fantasy quarterback 5 last year.
How many quarterbacks were hurt last year?
It doesn't matter. He was the fantasy
Doesn't
quarterback
matter.
5.
Doesn't matter because there were quarterbacks that were hurt. Yeah,
But
that's
it does. But it doesn't.
that's
Like
just
it
such a
just matters.
flawed logic.
It just matters where he finishes, and he finished fifth. So he's fifth. He was fifth last year.
Then take him fifth overall. You've got the number 4 pick. Let's
No,
take him. Let's
no.
take
But I
him.
think he's the
See how he
13th.
does.
I think he's 13th, whether you like it or not. I think he's 13th.
I think he's a pedestrian that can elude some defensive
I
backs
think
occasionally.
Derek Carr's too old to be in this tier.
I just think good quarterbacks should go over pedestrians.
He's 6 years younger, and he finishes the fantasy quarterback 5 last year. I have to take Daniel Jones before I take Derek Carr, and I would take
This
C.J.
man,
Stroud before I take Derek Carr.
I would take Stroud before I took Derek Carr too. Probably personally drafting him.
Okay. We got some agreements there. But
Just
I'm
because
I really
Carr's
like
32.
I'm really liking taking Derek Carr toward the end as like my quarterback too. So like if I'm gonna take a chance on a guy, like if I'm gonna take one of these young quarterbacks, or if I'm gonna take somebody like Jordan Love or something like that, then I like taking Derek Carr later on as my quarterback too, because I know he's gonna play fine. Like he's gonna play a decent. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I still don't like the coach in New Orleans. He sucks just as bad as McDaniels does. But I don't know. Once you get past that top 8, my opinion, I don't want any of them.
It's tough. It's tough. Is Dak inside your top 20? That's my question
Yeah.
right now. Okay, we've got, let's see. Let me catch right up here. We've talked about We've talked about those guys. We've talked about Stroud. We've talked about Daniel Jones. We're around the 16 area. Who is around 15, 16 for you?
Cousins, Purdy, Murray.
I think, okay. Okay, so you did come back and put Kyler Murray in there. Let's talk about Cousins, because I think Cousins is a great guy to have as your quarterback too, especially if you have one of these young guys, because you think Cousins is going to be done either, after this year, maybe after a couple years, and then, you're going to slide right into, you have this young quarterback that can take that spot in your fantasy lineup.
There's no way Kirk goes done after 2 years. He's been way too good.
Well, I mean, he is 35 years old, and guys are getting that a little earlier than they have in the past. So, I mean, I just know when I'm not sure if his contract is up this year or what he might do, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just know, what his age is and everything like that. So you just never know what a guy might do.
I just think with how guys light it up and fall off, like just how certain guys have 2 great years and then you never hear about them again. That's exactly Daniel Jones. That's what he is. He had one mediocre year. You'll probably never hear about him again now that he's got $40 million a year in his back pocket. That's the dumbest decision in football history, in my opinion. Like, there's no way that you can value that guy at $40 million.
Yeah.
Like, when Patrick Mahomes makes $43 million a year, there's no way you can justify paying Daniel Jones $3 million less.
Yeah. I in no way, shape, or form think Daniel Jones is a good enough quarterback to be leading the Giants to some miracle playoff run / Super Bowl, blah blah
No,
blah blah blah.
Eli
And he's
Manning
not
was
worth.
good enough for that.
Yeah, he's not a $40 million a year quarterback or anything. The only reason why I had him where I had him is because I think that his fantasy points and his rushing just lines up for him to be in that area and his age. Now 15, 16 for me around in this area is where I put Jared Goff. I also put, this is where this is where I'm actually probably taking another quarterback. Jalen Hurts, I took at the beginning. I don't assume that I'm going to end up with Bryce Young because I feel like somebody's just going to pay up for him too much. So there are a couple guys that I'm looking for here, and I'm looking for two of them. Jared Goff, Geno Smith. This is probably my last five. This is probably actually this might be like my 15, 16, let's say this is my 16 through 20. In no particular order. Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Jordan Love. I won't put Dak Prescott because I think he's just going to go for too much. Aaron Rodgers. I'll put those five guys in around that area. I don't know what order I would even put them in.
Yeah.
But those are five guys I'm looking for. I am looking for Jordan Love. I'm not looking for Kenny Pickett. I'd much rather have Jordan Love over Kenny Pickett. How you feel about that? I know you're not a Kenny Pickett guy, so I'm assuming yes. I don't think you like Jordan Love either, though.
I don't like either of those guys. I think they both suck.
Is there anybody down here that you're willing to take a chance on? Maybe they have a resurgence or something. I like Brock Purdy. Um, I like Brock Purdy,
I
but
love Purdy for the value I could get him at.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
I wish I would have mentioned him
I have
in my
said
in my last five.
I have said I really want to take a chance on Will Levis's arm turn into something. Um,
Yes.
and I think if there's a coach out there that could maybe just like calm him down and make him be a little more methodical and just I don't know, just be better, Vrabel might be the one to do it. Because Vrabel to me is a top 5 coach in the NFL because he frequently does a lot with a little. And other than Derrick Henry, that and a defense, that guy doesn't really have much. Offense always sucks, personally, like my opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about some guys, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you, are they done or can they turn it around? Okay. Russell Wilson.
He can turn it around, but I'd wait about 5 weeks and pick him up off free agents. I
Yeah.
would not
Okay.
draft him.
Somebody in our league, I guarantee it takes him. It's like a third quarterback or something. I mean, they're going to. Kenny Pickett.
No,
No. Trey Lance.
I don't think he's gonna play. So no.
No. Me personally, I would not be surprised if somebody gets him for like a 7th round draft pick or like a 6th round draft pick or something. Sends him over to, because the 49ers are going to be looking for something that last year of his contract. Maybe somebody that, but I don't think anybody's going to be sending more than a 5th, and they will put him in a quarterback competition against some other Joe Schmo and just see who wins it, and it won't be Trey Lance.
Right.
Okay. Listen, I could see Trey Lance and this next guy being in a quarterback battle somewhere. Mac Jones, baby.
Yeah. All right,
uh,
Cole, we ain't got but a minute left now.
okay. Well, I mean, so Will Levis. Hey, I want to throw out real quick. Stetson Bennett, baby. We're going
Yeah,
Stetson Bennett.
I would
Stetson
say
Bennett.
he's
Hey,
not a bad one to take a chance on.
I take a chance on him too. All right, Nick. Tell him what to do.
All right, y'all, let us know down in the comments what you think about our rankings. Don't draft Deshaun Watson and don't draft Daniel Jones. 2 completely different reasons for both of those things. One's a trash human, one's a trash football player.
Like and subscribe though.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Make sure you do that. Thanks for watching.